I have done differently. And then you have to say, okay, so now I know that I have to do this way and not the way I did it. And then you have to forgive yourself. Because if not, you're never going to forgive anything about yourself for your entire nursing career. Because every day is a day you could have done more. Okay? But that doesn't mean you feel like you could have done more. It doesn't mean you actually could have done more or differently. There's a lot of stuff that I like look back at my career and I wish that I could have held that hand for longer. Or there's my very first night as a registered nurse, it was a day after I passed boards. And I came out of orientation the same day. Imagine that, right? So I was in a surgical ICU, and I had a lady who had a giant head bleed. Okay? And she was dying. And she was in the unit, and her husband was there. And I just sat there in front of him, and I held his hands. And I didn't say anything. Mostly, I didn't say anything because I didn't know what to say. Just saying, guys, I really didn't. But he came back. And she died that night. He never said a word. I never said a word. And when it was over, we said goodbye to her. And I cried and he cried. It's okay to cry in front of your patients, but just saying. And he came back a while later and brought me beautiful flowers and told me that I was there for him on the worst day of his life. And I thought to myself, oh my God, you were so clumsy. You didn't do anything. You were terrified. But apparently I was there, and you have to believe you're enough. Guys, you gotta believe that you are enough. Okay? So, who else? You talk a lot, Lopez. No, just kidding.
Of course, along the line with making med errors, some med errors we're just gonna make as a matter of course. But can you tie that in to why we chose to focus on staff nursing ratios and how many issues are actual human error and how many can be tied into short staffing, being harried, rushed, and why is it so important for us to push for California style ratios?
It's a huge deal, okay? Medical errors and short staffing are absolute, there is correlation, there is causation, we know this. But where we are right now is we don't have these ratios. So what we have to do is unfortunately the best we can. Like I say, you have to get out here and advocate for your profession and yourself, but right now, we don't have those ratios. So what we have to do is, first of all, don't be afraid to say, absolutely not, I can't take another admission. Nope, not taking another admission, not. You have to do it sometimes. I've done it myself, you have to do it sometimes. But I think that you have to, like I said, just like I just said, you remember a lot of the things are processed, get involved with QI. I want you to do that because you do see a lot of different things. When you go and do what we call a root cause analysis and figure out how a problem happened, it is very eye-opening, okay? And you can often then point to what has happened. You can go, oh my God, we didn't have enough nurses, or oh really, the Pyxis had the wrong drug in the QB? Is it QB or Cubby? QB, right? I don't know. It just says CUBIE and I never know how to say it. So, it's the wrong drug was in there or whatever, or the pump had the wrong dilution on it, or whatever it was, and you go do these root cause analysis analyses, I don't know, and you see it, it's actually pretty interesting, but again, you have to get past it and forgive yourself. That's important, and we are told in nursing school, basically, that the worst thing you can ever do is make a mistake, right? No, you can't make a mistake, don't make a mistake, ever. Okay, so, and then you have your nursing instructors who go, but you're gonna make a mistake, or at least mine did. You just have to get past it. Mistakes are going to happen to everybody. None of you are perfect. I always say that there are people who make med errors and people who didn't notice they made them. Scary, right? You have either made a med error or you did not notice you made a med error. You either noticed it or you didn't. That's the only two. It's not that you were perfect. I love you all, you're not perfect. Okay. Yes?
Thank you.
Okay. Are you raising your hand up back there, or were you just being cool?
Well, I want to say that I really, thank you for saying that about, I'm a new nursing student too, and I just thought this is my second semester, and it's been a little rough because every time that I took the exams for Nursing 101, I was convinced that I was gonna get like a really good grade and I didn't. So now I'm gonna be taking it again.
I hate nursing exams. Which one is most right?
Yeah, as a result of that, like a lot of my classmates laughed at me, you know, and like they just said, like, you know, it made me feel uncomfortable. But now that I'm hearing all your experience, like I really feel a lot better today, like from hearing your experience. So I wanted to ask you, like, what else should I do? I know I'm gonna take it next semester.
First of all, you need to forgive yourself for nursing 101 because that happens to people. Second, nursing exams are exactly like real life. That's the thing that stinks about nursing school, because the way we do nursing exams, they're exactly like real life. Now, maybe it's an ivory tower solutions that you're never gonna have in your facility. Okay, you work in a critical access facility, you are not calling the perfusionist for anything, all right? But what is most right? Which one of these is most right? Which one of these will you do first? That is actually nursing. That is the nursing process. That is, okay, I've got this guy and he's not breathing really well. Do I do a cabbage or do I raise the head of the bed? You know, that's the question. Maybe the guy eventually needs a cabbage from the CT surgeon, but that was actually a real life example from my nursing school, I just wanted to mention. But you raise the head of the bed, right? So that's what's important. What's important is deciding what makes sense. You have to look at it and go, okay, so I have a patient who's not breathing really well. What am I gonna do first? Call a code, raise the head of the bed, put oxygen on. Well, raise the head of the bed and put oxygen on are both good answers, but raising the head of the bed is the least invasive, so I'm gonna raise the head of the bed. And that is the process that you have to go through with all these nursing questions, these questions in nursing school, right? And also, I wanted to touch on my classmates were mean to me. Nursing is rife with incivility, okay? Incivility is a huge thing. We are so mean to each other.
Why?
Why?
I'm being a lot in nursing. I don't know.
Do you want to know what I think, or do you want to know what like experts think?
What do you think?
This is what I think. What I think is that nurses are so marginalized in facilities that we have no one to strike out on except each other. Okay. And we have to get rid of this impulse to strike out at each other. That's the problem. I actually worked in a place where I was bullied and dealt with a lot of incivility, and they tried to actually destroy my career. These people actually made an accusation after the fact that I was diverting and abusing drugs. I'd like to point out that I can't even have a beer. Okay, I don't even drink. I had some water tonight because I can't even have a glass of wine, I'd be unconscious. But because they didn't get their way with something and they were frustrated about not getting their way, they actually started a rumor about me diverting and using drugs. So I just want to let you know that this is a huge freaking problem in nursing. And you, right, all you guys here, and all your classmates, and you are the thing that's gonna stop this. By refusing, I don't care if they're the coolest girls and all the charge nurses on your floor and they're awesome, and they start talking nasty about somebody else, you say, you know what, I don't wanna hear any gossip.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did. I just
Yeah.
don't talk to them.
That's what you do. I don't wanna hear any gossip. I do not wish to engage in this situation because it's wrong and it's ugly and it's bad for the profession. Also, you're mean. You are a mean girl. That's what you have to do, and you're all responsible for it. And the very first time that you don't say something, you're wrong. You are doing something wrong, and you are perpetuating incivility in the profession. Okay.
And most of them are like LPNs and in the field.
So they already
and
know
I'm
stuff.
I'm just completely new to this, so I guess that's why I'm.
You're gonna be okay. You are. You're gonna be okay. Do lots of NCLEX questions too. Everybody says that, but I really mean it. It helps. Jorge.
I mean, I'm in a job faculty and I teach senior students.
just
So
taking my
I
shoes
think that
off,
it's
guys.
very little that I can teach them when it comes to like things. But I usually tell them, one of you is going to become a bully. And it's going to be a choice that you make.
Yep.
Because it's a choice that we make.
It
You
is
know,
a choice.
I don't know, as a guy, sometimes, you know, I can see things in a different manner. Then I see how the dynamics works at the nurse's station. And I always wonder, like, what's up with this? You know, how can we demand respect from the doctor? We don't even respect each other.
Did you hear that? How can you demand respect from the doctor, from the CEO, from the committee that is making your staffing grid? How can you demand respect from any of them for your opinion if you don't even respect each other? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm a nursing chair of a nursing program. And there's a situation now with a particular class. 'Cause I think, and I told, and last week I went in and it was a rough week because my sister being in the hospital and stress. And they saw a side of me they'd never seen before. And because of that, the disability. And I went in there at 6 o'clock in the evening and okay, I laid into them and I told them, you know what, you want to report me? Come on, I'll walk you downstairs. I'm not afraid.
Give me some.
And
That's
let
what I
me tell you
wanna hear.
something. This week, when I have a gut feeling of something I've always followed as a nurse, when I have a hunch something fishy is going on, so this Wednesday, I gave up my comfortable evening Wednesday home, and I stayed and I helped my professor proctor the exam. I handpicked who I was gonna have in my group during the exam. Let me tell you something, they were like this. Because they know that, you know what, I don't play games. I'm gonna nurture you, I'm gonna push you, I'm gonna give you tough love, but you know what, that's not gonna fly in my program,
And see,
as long
that's-
as I'm chair.
That's it.
And they were shaking.
I'm sure they were.
They
And
were
you know,
shaking.
and you know what? That's unfortunately what we have to do. We have to cut it off immediately when it starts.
And I
Because,
told them that
it's terrible.
you're starting this now.
yeah,
I said, you know what, you don't deserve to be here, because honestly, if you're doing it now, you're gonna bring it on to practice, so you know what, remember, just remember one thing, I signed your release at the end of the program.
so
So
have
you
any of
want-
you guys
so I'm
ever
gonna
heard
give
of
back the same
Kathleen
medicine.
Bartholomew?
Huh?
You ever heard of Kathleen Bartholomew?
No.
I am going to tell you that I would love for you to look up, she's Kathleen with a K, and see her TED Talk about incivility. Kathleen she's a huge leader, but she basically came onto a floor one day as a nurse manager of a floor, and this girl had made a med error. It was a big med error, the guy was too much, he was like, the thing was set for morphine and the syringe was dilaudid on the PCA, it was bad. But the guy didn't die and it was okay. So she came into her office and told her that basically the night before when she came in, she was 7 minutes late for her shift. And the gossip club, Mean Girls, were out there talking about her, and she'll never be a good nurse. She just doesn't have what it takes. And she said that she let them destroy her. One word that you tell somebody, you know, that's a beautiful top. I love that. I love your heels. I really do, actually. Or, could you have done something with your hair? Do you see the difference there? And actually, I meant them both the same way, because her hair is beautiful. But the thing is that one word can change the whole dynamic of how that person's going to deal with that night. You know, like that night, that day, I was a night shifter, so everything's that night. You can actually, by your incivility, cause medical errors. So the next time you're nasty to somebody at your job, I want you to remember that you could be the reason that they set the pump for 10 times too much narcotics. Okay? So, I know, I say things pretty straight out, and I mean them too, it's terrible.
You know how I think that when somebody does that, how can I trust this person in the future with my parents, with a patient? So that person, if he has the audacity to disrespect another colleague,
Yeah.
another student, I can imagine what she would be capable of doing to a patient.
Absolutely, and
For
as
somebody
Jorge
you
said,
love.
it's a choice. You make a choice.
It's crazy, so you have
become
to
a
stop
bully.
them. You
That's
have to,
choice.
even if you have to tell them off, you have to stop them.
So, you know, I didn't mean to get to that. I mean, really, this is all my dream. But you know what? This whole conversation, being able to facilitate this discussion, this is my dream.
Perfect.
And for you.
Bullying nursing.
Yes, ma'am.
I just
be
want to go
anywhere.
back to it because I'm not the one who's going nursing, my daughter is here.
Yeah, I was
But
just
that
talking to
doesn't
her.
have anything to do with just nursing itself, because I was a teacher.
Oh, is it the same?
kind of stuff goes around now these days, where people think that they don't have to report a situation, and they ignore and they close their eyes. So you young people really have to stand up for yourself, do the right thing. Because if somebody goes over it and ignores the situation, it just keeps going on and on, it's a domino effect, which screws the whole young people generational. Because nobody wants to pick up a phone call and answer a message but the voicemail. So the voicemail means that the person doesn't want to talk to you. That's what generally it is. And goes to a computer and all this other nonsense, and things happen where a lot of young teachers retire and they just want to give up the position. So this actually happens like in nursing, because my mom was ill in September and unfortunately she passed. So I find that medical is very tough these days, and I tell my daughter that. Only because it's not like the old days, like 10 years ago, where they really recognized a patient who was ill, and the doctor is one doctor and one nurse that you can go back to making a comment. Because once one is resident doctors or residential nurses, they have to follow the head residential
Absolutely.
doctor, which means that they could BS you around and you could ring you around, and you have to follow that rule because you're new. So that means that you could get fired or you can get demoted on a job. So you young people have to really speak up. And somebody who's dishonest, you have to find some people, because some people could be a rat finger.
And here's the teacher telling us about how to fix nursing, and she's right.
It's
Okay.
bad, it's bad, because it's not just nursing, it's teaching too.
You have to
It's
learn how
teaching
to advocate for yourself.
young people not to be honest and very disrespectful. Because if they can't take care of a patient, why do you want to be a nurse? Because my mother was ignored and she had a problem. She was fine, she was 94. And only because she was ill at 94, they just kind of like, okay, I could swing one over. And God forbid, because I was speaking English, advocating for my mother. My sister was in Hawaii, so I had to advocate. And it was almost like night and day. That was my job. And unfortunately, I retired at the same time trying to help my mother. But then my mother deceased. So now I'm here by myself, and I'm trying to help my daughter.
You're not here by yourself with that beautiful daughter right there. You're not here by yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry to bore you.
No, thank
But
you for,
it's very,
thank you for
it's very
speaking up.
aggravating, because this goes down to the guidelines of any situation, any kind of career. And I feel sorry for you nurses, because it's not that to feel sorry, it's just that the protocol is that you gotta listen to the head resident doctor, and they could give you a whole schmeal of garbage things that you have to follow and not tell the truth. Like, it has to go through, because you have
Though
to
we
write
hope that doesn't happen.
report or something
We hope
like
that doesn't happen.
Correct,
But
yes.
it is, but yeah,
But
thank you
it's
very
all
much.
deep in your heart what you have to do, because that's your nursing career. Your career in the medical
All
field,
right.
that deals with a livelihood.
Well, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We've come to an end.
That was
All right.
amazing. I don't know how many of you were touched, but by Better Fit Nurses, thank you so much. Please contact them. All right, and spread the word. Social media is big. Please help them out. They help us. So And Janie, thank you so much. Centuries Health Services.
Oh, I love it.
You guys are all students, but 4 years maybe to travel nursing. Thank you so much for coming. On a Friday night, I really appreciate it.
Nothing, she said it all.
I'm just amazed. I'm amazed by the teachers, everything going on. But I wish you guys the best of luck. Again, follow your heart. Take care of yourself. Failure, it's not failure. You just have to try it again and try it differently. And we're here for you. Okay, now New York, show me your stethoscope. This isn't, we have to come together and unite together, right? You can't just be one voice. We have to unite and be a voice with each other. And that's what Janie showed. Okay?
Yes. Thank you very much, Janie. She made this possible, and like I said again, going back to what the dream is about. We started with a dream, and here we are. A couple of things that I want you to go away with: follow your dream, no matter what that is. Okay, don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. Okay, you always have a choice. Okay, the most important thing, not only dream, but make it happen.
And
Okay.
take care of yourself after. Yeah.
Thank you, come
Take
on.
some stressful food, drink. There are portable containers and baggies. Please take some. Oh guys, there's a fundraiser May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. All the information will be on the Non-New York website, and that money helps pay for the scholarships for students. Also, there's a meeting this Tuesday in the same room, so from 6 to 8, okay, on Tuesday the 10th. So you guys are welcome to come as well, okay? And there'll be food and drink. Hold on out.